In addition to building up your estate, are there any plans to have something that directly threatens your estate? For example, random invasions or quests that trigger invasions where you and a friend or a group of friends would protect the estate.
The topic is.
There's definitely nothing like that we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks at all.
Okay. It's good.
Has that been the subject of design meetings?
Ominous laughter.
Yeah, that's been the subject of some design meetings.
No, it hasn't.
I mean, we want to put a lot more gameplay on and around the estate. So some of it's going to be the estate has things to send you out into the world to do stuff, and some of it we want to bring onto the estate and have stuff going on there. So, having to defend your estate from the barbarian hordes or, possibly even other players is something we want to play with.
All right, dreaded next category.
Uh-oh.
What's the dreaded next category?
PvP!
We don't dread that.
For PvP, topics have suggested implementing arena-style combat. How large scale will that be? 1 versus 1, up to 5 versus 5. How do you see promoting tribe competition? Any other forms of PvP? It's not a high priority for me, but it can be fun. Which kind of brings out the second question. I'd love to hear about the future. What type of PvP? Warfronts, arena, FFA?
Free for all.
Yeah, free for all. Tribe, PvP, flagging system.
The only kind of PvP that I am categorically against is PvP that you don't opt into.
PK.
PK, yeah. Nothing ruins my game experience quite like some jerk bashing me on the back of the head when I don't want to be bashed on the back of the head. I would say anything else is open.
It's kind of a thing for when you get home, or
yeah, sure. In my copious free time, I'll be implementing a large PvP system.
Oh, you just killed us.
I just killed us. Why?
You gotta
Your
understand
snark,
sarcasm.
somebody's
Oh.
going to take it seriously.
I
That
was
was
joking.
sarcasm.
we need to get this last sarcasm light that we can have
Sarcasm.
I will
Sarcasm
in
light
fact
is on.
not be
He's not
implementing a
really
large
going to
PvP
go
system.
home and implement it overnight.
No.
I'll give the canned answer. We love PvP. We want to do PvP. We want to do it right. It's going to take a long time to do right, so it's not going to happen soon.
Seriously.
There's no TM on that. I'll assume TM. But,
No.
classes. Will the scouts end up using chainmail armor modeled on that of Auxilia archers of the legions, or are you aiming more for armors based on that prior to the Gaius Marius reforms?
They start with leather and they end up with mail.
If you want to know what the exact styles they're using are, we would need Dombrowski, since he's the artist implementing all
I just
of
heard leather, that's all I've heard.
Yeah, they advance the mail. Most things are.
Gosh, that sounds like another game.
From an overhead design perspective, they start with leather and they end up with mail.
So I guess the answer is yes.
Sounds better.
So,
with
if you want the Auxilia archers of the Legion, then you gotta add Dombrowski
Sorry, I have
if
it
he's
all.
doing that. They were upstairs 5 minutes and they forgot we were down here.
We do work in a basement, Phil. Next one. There's some evidence from the game data that the concept of stealth was originally imagined for this game for some NPCs and some skirmisher minions, and maybe even for a player class. It's not a mechanic that has ever been previewed or tested by players, though. Is this a mechanic Heatwave intends to implement in the future? If so, where would players be likely to see it first?
This question sounds oddly knowledgeable.
Well, it's
come
sort
from?
of, I understand what they're saying, because there's some fiction and some abilities that minions have that sort of indicates that they should be doing stealth. Stealth is... Hang on, we've got more people coming through. Oh, look, it's an IT guy. Just go ahead. Or you can stay there. That's fine.
You'll stand there for the next half hour as you pass.
You make our internet fast?
So there was the Nomad class actually used to have a stealth ability, or it's got stealth abilities, but they never worked from the time we got the game, and they weren't high priority for us to fix because there were so many other things that were more important. So I don't think that we have ever looked at how it works or what's wrong with it. We just know that it was broke a lot when we got it.
Yeah, we surveyed a bit and discovered that there were definitely issues that we have to resolve. I mean, I think it'd be really cool. I mean, it's a great mechanic. to get into the game. Chances are, I would expect it would show up on NPCs first, and then once it's proven its metal, we might start looking at other classes, player classes. And obviously, I think if stealth went into the game and everything was working happily, I think it'd be great on the scout personally.
Yeah.
So.
All right. We have a question here since that is related. When is the scout coming?
Soon.
TM, nah.
All right, we'll move on to crafting.
Very, very soon.
Yeah,
Very, very soon.
we spent a lot of time in the last week doing nothing but fixing scout problems.
Not much, 2 weeks actually.
Soon. Crafting. How will crafting work? There's been talk of doing so through the estates, as there doesn't appear to be any form of resource harvesting out in the world. Will it be driven through the estate interface? How does blah blah blah? How does it work?
Oh, there is resource harvesting. Little do you know. You're doing it already.
It's a long ass question.
What?
What's the design?
Tim, tell us all about crafting.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to give all the details, but so we're expecting there to be resource management and some kind of production on this stage. We're expecting there to be building different things on estates that will require some of those resources, and when we get to the point where the estates are customizable, we hope that will be a thing that people are. He was really worried about making a lot of noise.
He really was.
Well, players will be gathering and consuming a lot of materials so that they can build really cool stuff for their estate. So there's the estate aspect of it. There's also going to be a more arming your character, more of a personal level of crafting, which is going to be hopefully a really creative way for players to try to make really weird gear. And basically it's going to be gather really good ingredients in the course of gameplay, gather good patterns so you can make cool stuff, and we want there to be kind of a puzzle to making really good stuff, and as well as the creative aspect of trying to figure out what kind of stuff you want to make. The idea is that if you gather the best ingredients, you find the best patterns, you do the little puzzle as well as you possibly could, you can make some really fantastic gear. And we want people who are really good crafters to be able to be fantastic crafters and kind of make a name for themselves. So that's kind of the goal. And once the auction house comes in and the trade really starts happening, I think it's going to get pretty interesting.
Well, I think the great way of looking at it is, we brought this up in Ustream before, is that when you first presented your design idea and we first started talking about it, is that I am on the very much Care Bear side of things. I love crafting, I love picking flowers and exploring and building.
Aww.
And then you had Phil, who's very much into, plays World of Tanks. He's very much of a PvP oriented guy. But both of us agreed that this design was great and that we would play it. And I think that that's a big thing, that it's going to be accessible and interesting for all players.
Because we're freaking geniuses.
Yes, it's true. Well, we don't have anybody from art, so if you guys know any of these kind of things, we can answer these. The game has a very unique art style. Are there any plans for art, graphics, enhancements in future patches?
Yes.
Oh yes, always.
The artists are constantly working here.
I mean, I think one of the things that they're playing with skin shaders. Hopefully we'll start looking at some of that soon. I know they're already working on higher res hair, and I'm pretty sure that they're working on some new hairstyles as well. And of course, we've got normal mapping on some parts of the game and a lot of stuff we still haven't gotten to, so we're going to keep hitting that stuff and, cranking up texture densities and fixing animations. So yeah, constantly. It's always going to be ticking up.
While the armor is great for the current time, is there anything on the table to make armor a little more unique but still in the time zone?
Well, that's kind of the thing we have to...
That's a Jeremy kind of
Are
thing.
they asking for giant shoulder pads?
What's
They
that?
want giant shoulder pads. Giant blue weight shoulder pads. I think so. I think that we're probably... I mean, it's going to have to get more interesting because it's going to have to mudflate probably a bit in style. But we also have a whole lot of different ethnicities that we can play with, because you look at the stuff that the Egyptians were wearing, and it's very different from Rome.
Yeah.
And you go north into Gaul and Britain, and that stuff is different. Mind you, at this period of time, they were really barbarian, but
Right.
we're going to steal art styles, and we'll keep adding new stuff. We're not going to run out of material. But I don't think that we want to go quite into the super fantasy land, because I think that's one of our flavors, is that we're not that super minutized fantasy game.
Could we have a mannequin to display armor sets?
I would like that very much.
It's a good idea. Designers would like that very much.
I have, in fact, been in an MMO I had been playing for many years. I've been collecting sets of gear for many years, waiting for mannequins. Never came.
Aw. So you want to make it happen in this game.
So sad.
Sad trombone.
Not only do you not have a mannequin, you have no place to display it.
I've now got no inventory space because it's all full of this old crappy gear.
Oh. That game sounds awful.
My life is hard.
Will there be support for social armors and/or equipment tabs with unique color choices, i.e., having a red and brown scheme on one set and a white and purple with another in the future?
I hadn't really thought about making it so you could switch the color schemes over things.
No, I mean one of the big things is that your color scheme is set by you when the game starts. So, it would be sort of a departure from that aesthetic.
Step one might be creating an avenue for you to change that color scheme
Yeah.
in the game.
Yeah.
Right. After creation.
Yes.
I'd like to do vanity sets too, because invariably you find a look that you like, you kind of want to stick to it, and then you upgrade your shoulders and they look like a clown suit. So
Well, your colors also define your minions' colors.
yeah. So yeah, I'd like to play that as well.
All right, mythology history. We have one question there. During development of the game, did either Heatwave or Perpetual approach historians and reenactors for inspiration and information?
Wikipedia.
I know that we didn't. I don't know what Perpetual did as far as talking to Roman historians.
Yeah, we did use this internet thing for a lot of research. We've also amassed actually a decent sized little.
We have a huge library of books.
In town, there's a place called Half Price Books, and you can buy an awful lot of Roman history books there for not.
Indeed, you can. For half price.
Actually, I think less than that usually.
So you can get at least twice as many books as if you paid full price.
That's how half price works.
That's how math works.
You're not even a systems guy.
I know, right?
Frickin' geniuses.
Don't tell what my name on this.
All right, we'll move to minions. Minions and their pathing. While a good 70% of the time there are no issues, that leaves 30% in which minions either stop responding or they lag back or run too far forward.
Oh,
Rubber band. Also, the minions using their feet still seem limited, and one being Gorple, not at all. All of its feats are ranged, yet it never uses them. How soon are the minion bugs going to be fixed?
Purple doesn't have a range.
I just heard this about Gorple the other day because I haven't been looking at the minions. But I know Edson did a pass on all the minions, didn't he?
He has a melee-only skirmisher set in progress, which Scorpel will grab as soon as it's finished.
Yeah.
But yes, Scorpel has ranged abilities and no ranged weapons, so he can't perform any of those actions.
Before Sits could spit. Why doesn't he spit?
It's probably a god power instead of a CSM. How about that rubber banding?
Yay, Octopus.
I don't. At least from my knowledge, we're not planning on doing a lot of work on the minions in the near term. Obviously, we'd like to. There's a lot of stuff we can fix up there. The only work that's been done, I'm sure you guys realize, is just very minor. I'm not even going to call it pathing, but just some basic instincts not to try to go run off the nearest cliff just to stay in formation, which works, as you said, probably about 70% of the time. So that's unfortunately about all I had to report on that.
Fix is coming, but we're prioritizing other things at the moment.
Well, that's such a nice
Yes.
answer.
Trying to there you go. Find the we're not say we're not doing that.
If you don't have anything else to do, you can come
That
to me
sounds
and
kind
help
of
us. Minion equipment would be a nice way to customize your minions. Will it be as granular as a possibility changing feats on minions? Or will equipment for minions perhaps enhance certain feats?
Any particular answer?
I still like the idea of being able to shove whatever armor on a minion I want.
Use them as your mannequins.
Basically, yeah.
There you go.
Stand here.
Stand here
Don't
and wear
move.
this.
Put this on.
Yeah.
We can kill two birds with one stone there. Somebody schedule that.
Abrams, that
Right.
Writing it down now.
It's the rubber band if I'm standing still. So.
Mike Messler's putting it on the schedule. It's going to happen.
sticky
That's how it works.
Mannequin minions.
Minionkins.
minion.
Legendary mannequin.
We're going to move over to story. Will the main story be developed further and with improved plot continuity between quests after the initial ones for rebuilding the estate?
Yes. The story is something that I work on constantly. There's a lot, like we've said this before, right? There were 3,000 quests when we got the game, and there wasn't a particular storyline that went all the way through them. So, whatever opportunities I get to go back and shove storyline in there, I'm using it. But it's kind of a disjointed mess. And I don't think that's anybody's fault, right? They weren't close to shipping yet when they stopped working on it. I'm sure they intended to go back and add more story. But it is what it is.
As the game progresses, will we be seeing more references to the famous Roman legion post-reforms, such as the officers, etc.?
I mean, I think that we want to explore just more of the military side of the stuff that's going on with Rome. I mean, I think in general, we have kind of the look of, Roman, what people imagine is Roman history and mythology, but I don't really think that we do a very good job of telling the stories. So, I mean, I think we want to go back to more of the classic mythology feel, and I think that we need to do a better job of exploring, the stuff that's going on with the military and the politics and stuff like that. So I do think we will explore all of that stuff more in the future. Try to be more upfront and explicit about it, as opposed to being coy. Clever.
For coy.
Well, we have ancient gods that most people don't even know about as our antagonists. And it's like, most people don't even know.
I had not heard of the Telkanos Island, the people before working on this project.
Exactly. Few people had. So, that's one of those things that we're kind of looking at and going, how can we make this a little bit more, people are used
People
to
play
it.
Titan Quest. Wasn't that the same? The Telkians?
Yes.
I made it to level 2.
Level 2?
Yeah.
That
I've
was a
been
good
maxed the
game.
hell out of that game. It was kind of easy once you did that. You just put all of your points down one tree on one ability. That one ability got kind of stupid powerful.
Let's not spend so much time telling people how to play other games.
It's an old game. Keep playing ours.